Hey guys, this is Brett from Modeling Oregon. It has been a while since I've made a video, but I'm super excited to make some content, and I've got some videos here in the future that I'll kind of talk about where I've been and some big plans for this year. But today, I really want to talk about 3 pros and 3 cons of living in Bend. And I know I made a video similar to this last year, but a lot changes. So I'm really excited to kind of dive into the 2022 version of pros and cons of living in Bend, Oregon. So let's jump in. So jumping right into number 1, I want to talk about lifestyle advantages. So Bend is amazing. You all know that if you visited, or if you've even watched my videos or seen other people's videos, it's pretty apparently amazing. We've got mountains, rivers, lakes, and everything in between. But what's really amazing about Bend is the lifestyle advantages, and that goes down to both personal life and work life. Most people that I work with that are relocating from larger metro areas are looking for nicer people and definitely more of a balance. So that's the 2 things I hear about over and over, and that is repetitive among all sorts of different clients moving from all sorts of different areas. If you're looking to kind of slow down in life, relax, and enjoy what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, both from a career and lifestyle advantage perspective, I think Bend is gonna have what you're looking for. If you've done any research or if you've visited, you know what I'm talking about. It just has this certain feel to it. And on top of that, the people are some of the nicest you'll ever meet, which just, is really just the cherry on top. On top of that, down in the bio below, I attached a few links from articles I was reading on that just provides some statistical data that goes on what I'm talking about. So, both job growth as well as just some different things about Bend's growth. All right, so I've gotten my first pro out of the way, and I want to talk about the first con. I've made a few videos talking about cons, and they're really never that negative, so I apologize, but there's just not much to say about Bend that is negative. It's an amazing place to live, but I will say, over the last year, the one thing that has continually got worse and worse, seemingly every month, is the traffic. If you live here, and this is something both locals and newer residents can agree on, is traffic's getting really bad. Both on 97, on 3rd Street, on Reed Market, on Butler Market. All of our main transportation and transportation routes are getting pretty backed up, especially in the mornings and the afternoons when people are headed to and from work. Obviously the rush hours are the most busy, but it's definitely been very, very noticeable this last year. A lot more waiting around, but for the most part, it's not gonna be bad. You still can get around town in 15, 20 minutes. So definitely something to think about. We definitely have more traffic than other rural areas. But yeah, that's the first con. So the second pro I was really trying to go back and forth with, and I talked to a few different people. And honestly, I think the second point that I've really started to notice over the last year is the small town feel that Bend has, but the big city possibilities. And going back to some of the stuff I linked down below, the job growth, the city growth, the population growth, it all supports this infrastructure that's really interesting because we have all of these outdoor activities and this access to nature and to get away from the city. But you come into town and you're gonna have your big box grocery stores, you're gonna have some chain restaurants, and it doesn't feel like you're in some rural area where in reality is we're kind of on an island here in Central Oregon. We're 3 hours away from any major city, and it's crazy because you could live here for a long extended period of time and it doesn't feel like that. On top of just the way it feels, you're gonna have opportunities to meet people from all over the world. You're also gonna have job opportunities from a really diverse industry perspective. So you've got every type of job that you could want. And if you're looking to start a business, you're not gonna be starting it in some tiny town that doesn't have any potential. There are a ton of flourishing businesses here in the area, and they're continuing to have better business years year after year. So it really is super individualistic, and there's not many places that compare to Bend. But like I was saying in the beginning, the small town feel, big city possibilities, that's something that I've really noticed after the last year. All right, so all the locals, if you guys are watching this video, I know this is the one thing that is probably gonna make you more angry or has made you more angry than anything else, and that is the cost of living. So I understand the cost of living is definitely relative. Depending on where you're moving from, it could be more expensive or you could save money. But in relative years, Bend has skyrocketed in price. The cost of buying a house has gone up hundreds of thousands of dollars on average just to get into a starter home, you're gonna be looking at the $400,000 to $500,000 range, depending on what you're looking for. And 5 years ago, $400,000 to $500,000 could get you a brand new construction house, maybe a half acre with a custom finish. So just to put that into perspective, the cost of living is going up a tremendous amount, but everyone was kind of predicting this. Bend is an amazing place, the secret's out. And I know for the locals, that's really hard to hear. But again, cost of living is relative. So depending on where you're moving from, it could be a good or bad thing. Alrighty, so this would not be a video about Bend unless we included some type of interesting fact about beer or breweries. So I was just told recently that Bend actually has the most breweries per capita, I think in the entire country, maybe followed by Asheville, North Carolina. So that brings up a great point. If you're someone that's into breweries, if you like taste testing beer and you just always wanna have a year-long supply of fresh, amazing brews, Bend is gonna be where you wanna be. It honestly has a brewery on pretty much every corner of the street, no matter where you are in the city. And what's crazy is a lot of the breweries are actually local here. They were founded and they sell nationally, but they're located here. Deschutes Brewery was the first microbrewery in the country, and they actually pushed for legislation to be passed for microbreweries, which is really cool. And the culture here is super deep. So on weekends, you're gonna see people rolling around on different carts, on little bike things, and they're drinking beer and pedaling, and there's all sorts of stuff you'll see that involves beer. So if you're someone that likes that atmosphere, if you like that culture, Bend is gonna be amazing, and it really is worth mentioning because a large part of the culture here in Bend is beer. All right, so for the last con of the day, I wanted to finish on something that I thought was definitely worth notating. So I always talk about Bend being extremely beautiful. You're having quick access to nature and the outdoors. But something to consider with the population growth is it's getting harder and harder to find true solitude outdoors. All the major trailheads, the lakes, the rivers, the mountain biking, the fishing spots are all becoming more and more populated with people. And if you're really looking for a rural escape from reality, no cell service, no people, you can do that in Bend, but it's getting harder to find, especially in the places that are extremely scenic and beautiful that Bend is kind of known for. So if you're looking for somewhere that's extremely rural, I think more of Montana or Wyoming might be a better fit because within 5 or 10 minutes of a town, you're going to be by yourself. Whereas in Bend, we're just not that place anymore that it used to be 20, 30 years ago. So that's kind of my final comment for the day. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys got some value from it, maybe learned a few different things. Really, Bend is changing year after year. It's growing for the good or the bad. That's up to you. But ultimately, if you are considering moving or relocating, I'd love to chat and help you out if possible. I helped a ton of clients last year make the move out of state into Bend. So if you have any questions, never hesitate to call, text, or email anytime. All of my information is right here. And I'd love to chat, see how I can help out. But we'll catch you in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.